Alrighty, let's see, what's today? Wednesday? Yeah, happy Wednesday. So we're going to briefly go through how to install Podman. So Podman is a container servicing program, which is a big fancy way of saying that it is, what's the best way to put it? It is a service and really a tool that lets you take your applications and put them into these little reproducible, standardized virtual boxes. Think of it like taking all of the different parts of whatever you want to run for any kind of program, whether it's your favorite video game on your computer or a large language model that is using retrieval augmented generation, or RAG, with a vector database, so that being a second brain for the AI model that can then be used to go through your documents or whatever else you end up giving it, so like sometimes images or a PowerPoint, to help mitigate the potential hallucinations. And Podman is a more secure version of a popular platform called Docker. And so the big takeaway and why people really like using these container platforms or containers in general when it comes to programming, AI, whatever have you, is because of their security and their reproducibility. It's the next step in terms of virtualization. So beyond just what we do for, say, Python with a virtual environment or Anaconda for a virtual environment, containers can house those virtual environments you create, as well as the operating system, so like Windows or Mac or versions of Linux, and all of the different dependencies / packages / libraries, so all the components that make up that overall application, whatever it is. Think of it, maybe another way to put it, being like all the parts of a car that you're building. If the program is the car, then all the different packages are the different parts of the car. The operating system is the engine. It runs based off of those settings. That build defines what the application actually does. So with that, we are in our terminal, and what you're just seeing is that I'm in a directory. I have mounted or added my a folder that I have, or a different drive called D drive, which is just another. I have a solid state drive or SSD on my computer, a second one in addition to the typical C drive. So that's all you're seeing with the /mnt/d. Again, right, well, remember is if you want to go back, so into a higher level directory, we press cd space .. enter, and if we want to go into our directory, we press cd space and then just wherever it is we want to go. And we can also cd, and if we happen to know where we're going to go, so this is the, oh, nope, what was it? There we go. So, yeah, right. It's just, we can put the path to the actual directory we want to go to. We don't have to just do a bunch of CDs. So, anyways, right, clear, right? Because we always want to make sure we're being clean. So, we always check sudo apt update, enter. So, sudo superuser do, apt being the package manager, and then update for make sure we are up to date. Apt upgrade. anything there. And we can also do sudo apt update and sudo apt upgrade, right? And then y. So that way it's just boom, 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 going down. And these are just different source repositories that I'm drawing from that define what the update and upgrades actually are. And it looks like it's really thinking about one of these for a second here. Which again, like, it's just dependent on what updates are going on, what else is going on your computer. I'm running a few different things, so you know what, I've already updated things plenty of times, so we're just going to press Control-C, and we'll just pause that. So what we do is sudo apt, and again, me being on an Ubuntu Linux distro, it depends on what distro you're using, but so to consider that, if you're not using Ubuntu, then sudo apt may not end up working, so just consider that. But there's also, you can install Podman desktop, and there's lots of different ways to go about it. I'm just using the terminal for sake of seeing what's going under the hood. So sudo apt install Podman, and then I already have it installed, so it's running 4.9.3, and that you can always tell what the version is. Yes, so it has, so that's the API, or the application program interface. It's running Go, because Podman, like Docker, is written in Go, which is a programming language that's great for concurrency, which means lots of different things happening at once. So Olama is a great representation of the power of Go and the power of containers, because that is what it is using. It is taking those AI models, putting them into containers, and then serving them up to run locally on your machine. And then, right, of course, it's running Linux as the operating system. And with the build out, so this just helps you when you're looking at different versions and upgrading. It's just about what works on your machine. So keep it nice and simple for this one before I go and wax too poetic on anything else. But Podman is really great to be able to run things, and the main distinguishing factor between that and say Docker is Podman allows you to run in a configuration what's known as being rootless. So that just means that you are not getting access necessarily to the root of your computer. So you're not getting that direct line. Think of like your teeth and how you can have a root canal, or when you get a cavity because there's just some infection that's really hitting that root. That's what you should think about, is the root of your computer can be vulnerable, and so we run things rootless. That means that we are not getting access to that potentially sensitive, potentially very painful core of our computer. Now, that being said, Docker also has a way to configure rootless, and Podman has a way to configure it to be root-full, meaning that it can have access to the root, but that's for another time. The big thing here is just an explanation of what Podman is, the benefit of it, and then a brief showing of how you can install it, and then we'll continue to go through how to actually run the commands and all the other widgets that go inside of that, because it's really important to see security, low memory footprint, as well as accessibility and transparency. That's why, for me personally, I think Podman's great. So hopefully this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.